Imagine walking into a room, not saying a single word, yet every man feels your presence, turns his head, and respects your energy. This isn't magic, it's psychology, power, and feminine influence. Today, I'm about to reveal the 8 most powerful ways women can control any man without even opening their mouth. Listen carefully, because once you know these, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. There are silent forces women carry that men cannot resist. These forces don't come from shouting, demanding, or begging. They come from presence, energy, and subtle mastery of behavior. If you're ready to step into that hidden power, here are the 8 ways to control any man without saying a single word. Each of these 8 points is like holding a secret key. Once you unlock them, you so understand how men's minds work and how women silently shape their actions, thoughts, and desires. 1. How to control with eye contact. Eye contact is one of the most underestimated yet powerful tools of influence that a woman can use. When a woman locks her gaze onto a man without wavering, it speaks volumes without her needing to utter a single word. It sends signals of confidence, strength, and self-assurance that immediately shift the power dynamic. Men are instinctively wired to respond to visual cues, and the eyes are the first channel of that connection. A direct look can make him pause, second-guess himself, or even feel compelled to move closer. It is the unspoken language that communicates dominance wrapped in elegance. The secret lies in how the eye contact is delivered. A quick glance may be playful, but sustained eye contact carries a different weight. It shows certainty and unshakable presence. When a woman holds her gaze just a moment longer than expected, it creates tension that a man feels deep in his psychology. That tension is not negative. It's magnetic. It makes him wonder, what is she thinking? What does she see in me? That wonder is exactly what creates a sense of curiosity and desire. Eye contact also establishes control in conversations. For example, when a man is speaking and a woman maintains steady eye contact, he begins to adjust his words and tone, as if trying to impress or gain approval. Without saying a word, she silently guides the flow of communication. Conversely, when she chooses to break eye contact at strategic moments, it can signal disapproval or disinterest, leaving him scrambling to win her attention back. The ability to give and take away eye connection becomes a subtle way of controlling the rhythm of interaction. There's also a deeper psychological impact. In human behavior studies, prolonged eye contact has been linked to increased attraction and trust. When a woman looks directly into a man's eyes, his brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. This chemical reaction tricks him into feeling a closer connection, as if she understands him on a deeper level. This is why men often say, "She looked into my eyes and I couldn't look away." It's not just a poetic line, it's a real response to the silent influence of eye contact. Mastering eye contact doesn't mean staring aggressively. It's about balance. A soft, calm but steady gaze is far more powerful than an intimidating glare. It communicates that she is fully present, fully aware, and in control of the moment. When done with intention, eye contact becomes a silent command that men naturally respond to, often without realizing why they are shifting their behavior in her favor. 2. How to control with silence? Silence is one of the most underestimated forms of power a woman can use. Yet it has the ability to shift an entire interaction in her favor. While many people believe that words are the main way to influence others, it is often the absence of words that carries the deepest impact. For a man, silence is not just the lack of sound, it becomes a mirror, forcing him to hear his own thoughts, question his actions, and search for meaning in the space she leaves unfilled. This creates a psychological pull that makes him want to engage, explain, and pursue her attention even more. When a woman remains silent in moments where most would argue, defend, or react, she instantly separates herself from the ordinary. Men expect immediate responses, especially during conflict or emotional discussions. But when she chooses silence instead, it unsettles him in a way that words never could. He begins to wonder what she's thinking, whether she's upset or if she's already moved beyond caring. That uncertainty is powerful. It drives him to seek her validation, to break the silence himself, and to work harder for her attention. Silence also demonstrates self-control. And self-control is influence. By not rushing to respond, a woman communicates composure and emotional strength. This shows a man that she is not easily shaken, manipulated, or provoked. In contrast, those who react instantly often reveal too much of their emotions and give away their power. Silence, on the other hand, forces patience and discipline, two qualities that command respect. A man cannot dominate a situation where a woman refuses to play into his expectations. Another way silence controls is by increasing the value of her words when she finally does speak. If she is known for not filling every space with chatter, her voice gains weight. A single statement after a stretch of silence will echo louder in his mind than 100 rushed words. It makes him listen more carefully, respect her opinion more deeply, and take her seriously because he has learned that her words are never wasted. In relationships, silence can also create intrigue. It builds mystery, leaving him to guess her thoughts and intentions. Men often chase what they cannot fully understand, and a woman who uses silence strategically becomes an enigma, a puzzle he wants to solve. Instead of weakening the bond, controlled silence strengthens it by making him invest more energy into decoding her emotions and actions. 3. How to control with body language. Body language is a silent but undeniable form of communication that shapes how others perceive and respond to you. For women, mastering body language can become a tool of influence so powerful that it guides a man's attention, emotions, and behavior without her needing to say a single word. Every movement, how she walks, sits, stands, or gestures, communicates something about her confidence, self-worth, and expectations. Men are highly visual beings, and they unconsciously read these signals before they process words. This makes body language one of the strongest ways to control without direct expression. Posture is the foundation of body language. A woman who carries herself with her head held high, shoulders relaxed, and movements calm immediately communicates authority and self-assurance. When she enters a room with presence, men notice before she even speaks. A strong posture sends the message, "I know who I am, and I don't need validation." This subtle display often compels men to adjust their behavior, becoming more respectful or attentive in her presence. Gestures also play a critical role. The way a woman uses her hands, her subtle touches, or even the stillness of her movements all send signals. For example, controlled and deliberate gestures show confidence and composure, while fidgeting communicates nervousness. A slow, intentional movement can captivate attention, while leaning in or pulling back physically during interaction signals levels of interest and influence. Without words, these small cues can make a man feel either drawn in or kept at a distance. Facial expressions are another powerful layer of body language. A confident smile at the right moment can disarm tension, create warmth, and make a man feel accepted, while a raised eyebrow or a calm, unreadable face can challenge him to rise to her level. Men quickly adjust to these non-verbal cues, trying to gain approval or avoid disappointment. The fascinating truth is that men often shape their behavior in real time based on how a woman silently reacts through her expressions. Even the way she walks can shift the dynamic. A slow, purposeful walk radiates confidence and grace, demanding attention without ever asking for it. Men instinctively sense that she values herself, and this draws them in. By mastering her body language, a woman doesn't need to raise her voice or explain her worth. Her presence does the talking. and men naturally respond to that unspoken command. 4. Energy is invisible, yet it is one of the strongest forces of influence a woman possesses. Every person carries an energetic presence that others can feel the moment they enter a space, and men are especially sensitive to the type of energy a woman radiates. It is not about beauty alone, nor about words spoken. It is about the unseen frequency she gives off through her mood, mindset, and emotional state. When a woman learns to harness her energy, she can shift a man's behavior, thoughts, and emotions without saying a single word. Positive, radiant energy attracts effortlessly. A woman who carries calmness, warmth, and confidence in her aura creates a magnetic pull. Men find themselves drawn to her presence without fully understanding why. This is because energy bypasses logic and directly influences emotions. A man may meet many women, but the one whose energy feels uplifting and powerful will linger in his memory long after. She becomes unforgettable, not because of what she said, but because of how she made him feel in her presence. On the other hand, chaotic or negative energy can repel just as strongly. A woman who appears restless, bitter, or drained unconsciously pushes others away. Men pick up on this without needing explanation. It is why controlling one's inner state is so critical, because energy is contagious. A woman who chooses to embody grace, joy, and self-control silently controls the atmosphere around her. Men will adapt their mood, soften their tone, and even shift their actions to match the frequency she projects. Energy also dictates dominance in subtle ways. A woman with strong centered energy does not need to raise her voice or demand respect. Her presence alone creates an invisible boundary that men recognize. They sense they cannot approach her carelessly. And this silent awareness commands more respect than words ever could. Her energy communicates that she knows her value, and men instinctively align themselves to it. What makes energy so powerful is its consistency. A woman who learns to maintain control over her energy, regardless of external situations, becomes unshakable. Whether in love, work, or social settings, she remains calm, grounded, and magnetic. Men cannot control what they cannot destabilize, and a woman whose energy is self-sustained becomes a force they are drawn to and influenced by, often without understanding why. 5. How to control with mystery. Mystery is one of the oldest and most effective tools of silent influence, especially in the dynamic between men and women. A woman who embraces mystery does not reveal everything about herself at once, and this very act of withholding creates fascination. Men are naturally curious beings, and when faced with something they cannot fully understand, their desire to pursue, decode, and uncover intensifies. By cultivating mystery, a woman doesn't chase attention. She makes men chase her presence, her thoughts, and her emotions without her needing to say a word. The power of mystery lies in restraint. Instead of explaining every detail of her life or expressing every thought, a mysterious woman chooses carefully what to share and when to share it. She leaves gaps that invite imagination. Those gaps become spaces where a man's mind begins to wander, question, and create stories about who she is. This curiosity builds attraction, because what is unknown is often more alluring than what is fully revealed. In this way, mystery becomes silent control. It keeps him invested in seeking answers she does not hand over easily. Mystery also elevates value. When something is rare, hidden, or difficult to obtain, it automatically feels more precious. The same principle applies in human behavior. A woman who reveals too much too quickly risks losing that sense of rarity, but one who holds back creates an aura of exclusivity. Men sense that she is not available to just anyone, that her world must be earned, and that realization makes them put in greater effort to win her attention. Without a word, she sets the terms of interaction. Even in body language and presence, mystery can be communicated. A subtle smile that doesn't explain itself, a quiet moment of reflection, or a graceful exit without over-explaining leaves lasting impressions. Men replay those moments in their minds, trying to uncover meaning, and in doing so, they remain hooked. Silence paired with mystery is especially powerful. It creates tension that he feels compelled to resolve, but she holds the answer out of reach. Mystery is not about playing games. It is about self-respect and awareness. It shows a woman knows that her full essence cannot be consumed in one sitting. By controlling what she reveals, she controls the pace of connection. Men become more attentive, more invested, and more careful because they recognize they are dealing with someone who will never give away her entire self without it being earned. 6. How to control with standards. Standards are the invisible boundaries that silently communicate what a woman will and will not accept. Without saying a single word, a woman's standards tell a man how he must treat her, how he must approach her, and how much effort he must put into keeping her attention. A woman who holds firm to her standards carries a presence that demands respect, because men instinctively recognize that she cannot be swayed by empty promises or shallow gestures. Her standards are not spoken as rules. They are displayed through her actions, choices, and consistency, and this becomes a form of silent control that shapes how men behave around her. When a woman sets high standards, she instantly differentiates herself. Many people lower their expectations out of fear of being alone, but a woman who refuses to settle sends a clear signal of strength. Men quickly realize they cannot approach her casually or with half-hearted effort. Her standards silently test them, and only those willing to rise to her level are able to remain in her space. This creates natural filtering. Without confrontation, she attracts quality and deters the unworthy. Standards also communicate self-value. A woman who knows her worth does not need to explain it repeatedly. She simply lives in alignment with it. For example, if she values respect, she does not entertain anyone who disrespects her, no matter how charming they may appear. If she values commitment, she doesn't invest in someone who is inconsistent. Without saying anything, her refusal to bend shows men that her time and presence are precious. This makes men think twice before acting carelessly, because they sense that once lost, her attention will not return. Even in subtle interactions, standards speak louder than words. A woman who gracefully removes herself from disrespect, who does not chase after validation, or who remains calm when someone tries to provoke her, all demonstrate strength. Men notice these silent actions more than they notice speeches about what she expects. They learn through her behavior that she operates at a higher level, and this recognition compels them to step up. The most powerful aspect of standards is consistency. A woman who enforces them firmly but calmly never has to explain them repeatedly. Her life and choices make it evident. Men adapt quickly to what they sense will not change, and they begin to align with her values because they know her attention cannot be bought with anything less than genuine effort and respect. 7. How to control with feminine grace. Feminine grace is a form of power that is often misunderstood, yet it is one of the most captivating ways a woman can control a man without saying a word. Grace is not about weakness or passivity. It is about composure, elegance, and emotional intelligence. It is the ability to remain calm in the face of tension, soft in the presence of conflict, and steady when everything around seems chaotic. This quality disarms men in ways that direct confrontation or aggressive behavior never could. Grace makes a woman unforgettable because it is rare, and what is rare holds influence. When a woman responds with grace instead of anger, she shifts the entire dynamic. Men are accustomed to defensiveness, arguments, and pressure, but grace surprises them. It lowers their guard, opens their mind, and creates respect, without her ever demanding it. The softness of grace has the power to calm storms. A gentle smile, a patient pause, or a calm reaction to provocation communicates strength far louder than shouting ever could. This silent mastery makes men adjust themselves, wanting to meet her level rather than drag her down. Grace also controls by creating admiration. Men are drawn to what they admire, and a graceful woman becomes a source of inspiration. Her ability to maintain dignity in every circumstance makes men want to treat her with more care. Even when she is silent, her graceful presence sets the tone for how she should be treated. This unspoken expectation influences behavior, because no man wants to be the one who disrespects a woman who carries herself with poise. Feminine grace is also magnetic in relationships. A woman who embraces it makes men feel at ease while simultaneously holding authority. It is not a submissive energy, but a balanced one, gentle enough to invite closeness, strong enough to maintain boundaries. Through grace, a woman communicates that she is in control of herself, and that control naturally extends to the environment around her. Men sense this, and they respond by becoming more attentive, careful, and invested. Even in silence, grace is felt. It is in the way a woman moves, the way she listens, and the way she holds herself in moments of challenge. Instead of reacting impulsively, she allows her calm presence to speak for her. This creates a contrast that men cannot ignore. Because in a world filled with noise and chaos, a graceful woman becomes the calm center that commands respect and devotion without a single demand. 8. So to control with detachment. Detachment is one of the most powerful and silent ways a woman can control a man, because it creates both respect and desire without her needing to utter a single word. Detachment does not mean coldness or lack of care. Rather, it means emotional independence, the ability to remain whole and confident whether a man is fully present or absent. When a woman shows that her happiness, self-worth, and identity are not dependent on anyone else, she radiates a strength that men cannot ignore. This quiet confidence shifts the power dynamic completely, because men sense that they cannot manipulate or control someone who does not cling. The psychology behind detachment is fascinating. Men are often used to being chased, convinced, or pleaded with, but detachment denies them that comfort. Instead, it creates uncertainty and curiosity. A woman who can walk away calmly signals that she values herself more than the approval of any one person. That realization unsettles a man, but at the same time it draws him closer, because people naturally desire what they cannot fully possess. Her detachment forces him to put in effort, to question his own value, and to rise to her standards if he wishes to remain in her life. Detachment also prevents emotional manipulation. When a woman does not overreact to his silence, his mood swings, or his attempts to test her, she demonstrates that her emotions are under her control. This calm response removes his power to push or pull her with tactics, because she cannot be moved unless she chooses to be. In this way, detachment silently communicates that she is in charge of herself, and therefore in control of the relationship dynamic. Even small acts of detachment create influence. Taking time for herself without explanation, maintaining her own goals and passions, or refusing to beg for attention, shows a man that her world is already full, with or without him. Men naturally respect and admire women who live this way, because it proves they are not desperate but selective. Instead of diminishing her value, detachment increases it, making him invest more effort to win what he feels he could easily lose. Detachment does not distance.